And hello everyone, this is your Gita with Magic Pan Crafts, and I'm starting my vlogging of the second part of September. So what you see in front of you is a pattern called Spoiled Child. It's a very old painting that I fell in love with, and I had it pattern custom made for me. So I've decided to stitch today and probably a couple more days this month, because it's very big, and as you can see, the majority of the top is gonna be just those blends of dark colors until I get to the main part of the scenery. And I'm stitching it on an 18 count, and there's lots of blends in it. It's not like Heaven and Earth Designs patterns where you have a pure colors. So I'm stitching 2/1 full stitch, and this is where is my starting point. So all of that is done. So about a quarter of the row is fully done, and I already started moving in. So maybe like this area is finished. So as you can see, this is gonna be just the same mix of colors, no scenery at all, until I get to this, like a, I don't know what you call it, a dresser or a commode. So it's just gonna be continuing. I don't know how much I'm gonna make it, but I usually on a program I pick what it's the least amount of colors, and I stitch them in that area, and then I'm going with more and more until the end, where it's like one color left, that's majority of the colors, and I just fill in all the blanks left. This way, if I have like a singular stitch, for example here and there with all the bigger colors, I'm gonna fill in. I don't need to worry about like a loose thread stretching out too far and stuff like that. So I'm usually trying to not go more than 10 stitches off. If it's more, then I secure it, cut off, and start new thread somewhere. So this is where I'm gonna begin. I have my like a blocks marked 50, well 500, sort of 5 by 500, or how is that? No, 50 by 50 kind of square. So 2,500, and this is my square right now that's marked. So I usually try to go like a 4 by 5 area or 3 by 5, depends on how much time I want to spend on it. But since it's a very big pattern, I need to keep working on that slowly, at least each month, so I see some kind of progression happening. So long story short, I'm starting, and in a second you're probably gonna see how much I've done a few days later. And it's afternoon on the 19th, so past 3 days I stitch on the top row on this 18 count Ada fabric, and I'm very happy to say that I reached practically middle. Actually, when I marked this, I miscalculated by 5 stitches, so 5 stitches over here will be exactly middle. I don't know how I managed to miscalculate like that, but since I still have some room on the sides, so that's good. So I'm practically halfway point. So like right around here I'm stopping, and this row is not gonna see this. I don't know what is that exactly. Supposed to be some kind of containers hiding little birds or something, and only then I'll be able to see this furniture piece. So I don't know which. I think it's going to be mostly like dark colors that we can already see showing up in this part. But this is what I've done. I'm also today been cutting some fabric, and I'll show you what for. So this big mess I have is for all of these patterns that I've been cutting 25 count fabric right now. So I'm preparing for my next year big starts, and as you can see, I had to cut off the sides by this much on 25 count because it was not even cut fabric. But that's what I've been doing. Next one is gonna be 16 count that I still need to get more fabric for other babs. And once I'm done with this, I'll stitch all the sides that need to be stitched with the sewing machine, and then I'll start on my next stitching, which is gonna be this. Ta-da! So my next plan is to work on the back stitching, and I'm hoping to finish it in 2 days. So we'll see how much time I have since it's a weekend, and we'll be doing some stuff with the family. So there's doesn't look like it's gonna be a lot, but it's actually usually is. Like you can tell, all the little details starts popping out, and all the scales need to be outlined. So that's what's gonna be taking my time in next at least 2 days. I'll be working until I'm done with this guy, and it's gonna be my first finish this month, so I'm very excited. We'll see how long it takes. So in the second, you're probably gonna see all done. And it's still evening of the 19th, and as you can see, I'm all done with all the back stitching. So in total, I think it was like 225 full stitches worth. So it was done with only one color, with one thread or 2 threads. And you can kind of tell where some more accented parts were with the 2 threads. So from what I can see, these are like maybe from a tree branches that are falling in the piles, and there's like a little puddles of water, I guess, with the leaf falling down, and he's trying to catch falling leaves. So yeah, and September and done. Now I'm gonna take pictures tomorrow to send to designer with some kind of, you know, more artistic look, and then it will be done. I'll be waiting for the new October dragon. I don't know what it's gonna look like, but I'm sure it's gonna be something again with the fall colors, and we'll see what it turns out to be. But since it's till 19 and I had planned for like 2 days to work, I've decided to pull out something that is getting close to finish, and that is my 99 by Ink Circles. So again, this is the last row, so I might continue with the bottles or grab and start building a shelf underneath those 2 rows. I don't know, but right now it's just over 2,000 stitches left to do for this, and this project will be done. Yep, it's nine shelves total. So that's what it is, and there's nothing else to say except start stitching. So I'll see you, I guess, in like a day or a couple of days, and we'll see how much I managed to get on this one. And today is the morning, early morning on the 21st, and actually yesterday I finished my 99. So I showed it to my other kids and our husband. I was so excited that it's done, and they're like, oh, congratulations, okay. You know. So yeah, totally not appreciating these bottles with me, but they like other pieces of my stitching work, so at least that's good. So it went fairly quickly, fairly well. It just, I think towards the end I got the second sort of wind, and just finished off. Last part I did was the shelf, so I didn't even need to bother looking at the pattern. It just, I knew where to start, where to end, and it just went quickly, super fast, and I finished. Also, yeah, so this started in January 1st 2019 and finished what, 9/20/2020. Much earlier, almost a year sooner than I was planning to, so it's very exciting. And plus I finished also yesterday my linen and threads July part, and I actually figured out which colors I want to use for August, and you'll see all of that the end episode of my September videos. Very exciting. My plan this year was to finish June and July, and I did it, and started off already in August, so that's above my plans also. So it was very exciting. I finished 2 pieces of work that I wasn't planning to do it that early, plus I still had a tiny bit of time and I grabbed something else. And this is what I grabbed, my George. So actually I also managed to stitch a whole column. So I marked where I'm starting the second part of September. And I finished the whole column. I was getting a little bit too tired to continue. It was getting late, but I wanted to finish at least that column. So I'm on a page 55. Yes, page 55 already in here. So as you can see, this is the middle part of the row, so I'm a couple more columns and I'll be halfway through. And again, by February 22nd I have to have this done, so I'm gonna shoot for sooner finish that row. This is row 6, and because I want to finish it earlier, but I just can't just sit and stitch this one work. As you can imagine why. There's no ropes, there's no faces, no other body parts or boats or anything that would differentiate except some kind of slight color changes. So anyway, I think I'm gonna sit with this piece of stitching for the next couple of days. And we'll see how far I can get with that. Of course, my linen and threads are gonna continue slowly, like daily 100 or so stitches, and that's where I'm gonna see you in a second. Well, it's already Thursday, September 20, was that 4th or 6th? 24th. And as you can see, this is what I've done in the past full 3 days. And I can happily say that I finished page 56 and just started page 57, since I wanted to start something a little bit more. So very exciting. Done this much, way past my middle point, and I'm almost 60% of the whole thing is done. So that's exciting. Just worked on the same pattern again, and as you can see, it's gonna be starting, I think, here more like a darker gray color showing up, but I've decided 3 days right now is enough. So I'm probably gonna go back to this in beginning of October, most likely. Maybe I'll add another day in this month, but that's what my plan was, and so far I've been sticking pretty much very close to my plan for this month. So after this, I had planned something not as sort of like a one palette area colors, and you'll see what I mean. And it's this by this author Serogina, the wreath, Christmas wreath it's called by translation, and I've been working on that before with the back stitching too. So I finished the area and I tried to back stitch, and this is what I'm gonna start this time. As you can see, this whole part was like done with, even with the back stitching. So before I was filling in here in the colors, it's easier to count the stitches versus back stitching. For that you have to have a counter. So I might start now with the back stitching in here to continue to finish up, or I might do the full stitches, or both. I haven't decided yet, but this is what it looks like right now, and it's pretty much the same exactly colors that are in the printed version. So that's exciting to see exactly how it's supposed to be. So that's what I decided to grab. I already start making plans for the rest of this year, and even prepping for next year, but those plans you will see a bit later. So anyway, this is my starting point, and you'll see probably in a second what it looks like after several days working on this. And boom, is 66.4% already done. So if you don't like doing back stitching, this is not a project for you. So as you can see, I went all the way to the top. I had to move my Q-snaps to reach to the top of this tiny little branch, and I just tried to fill in more cross stitches in here everywhere, as much as I could towards the bottom. I even put a few in here, and then the rest of the time was spent doing all those back stitching. And some of them you practically can't even see unless you kind of like look from a sides, that it's one thread over, like going over a full stitch, that you can practically don't see it. Like over here, you know, there's something, and some of them totally disappear, especially when you look from further away or like through the camera. In live you can sort of see it, but very exciting. So all up to, like, I think about this point is all the back stitching is done, and most of the back stitching is done around this area. And as you can see, it's with some light stitching. I try to go with a sharp needle. I don't go like backwards and backwards and backwards with the stitching. I go like skipping some, and then after the row I come back. I try to stretch out, but somehow black color is the only one that shows up the most neatly for me. I don't know why the light color is so bad looking. Hopefully after washing and ironing, all of those little like bumps that was happening, especially over the dark threads, would even out. So there's some threads that had two threads of the same color, sometimes like a one, and then all different variations of that. But it's exciting. There's still quite a bit to go. Like you can see is I started up to this like point, and then there's all of this is still gonna be happening. So that's why it's only 66%, no, yeah, 66.4% done. So there's another berry gonna be here, and a little bit more branches, and then it's gonna be all those loose ones, like with the one thread, half stitch, full stitch, two threads, full stitch, and then all kinds of back stitching happening. But this is what it looks like right now. It would be great to finish before Christmas, because it is Christmas wreath, but I don't know. I'm gonna include this in the next 3 months of play that I'm gonna roll my cube. So hopefully it will kick in more, but still quite a bit left. So we'll see how it goes. So I was still going for my plans, and there's only one more whip that has been left on the list, and it's this one by Heaven and Earth Designs, called What's This? And again, for those who just tuned in to watch my videos, I just want to remind others that I'm stitching this on restitching this on a 16 count Ada creamy color, and I'm doing this as a gift, and this is what's gonna be my starting point. So I'll just continue working on the snow and sky. So just gonna keep going that way, and as you can see, this is the left side, and it's gonna be a long way, still fairly long way, keep going like up to like here, and then it's gonna be lion's mane. So right now it's fairly easy, like you can see above his nose, so it's still gonna be the sky portion, and then it's gonna be all that hair and mane. So it's still fun to stitch. On the 16 count I'm doing 2/1 full cross, and again Heaven and Earth designs don't have any blends, so that makes it a little bit easier to get the threads. For next year, new plans, what I'm gonna have for full coverage, pretty much all of them except one I think is gonna be with the blends. One is gonna be more blends than the pure colors, so we'll see what the difference is. But anyway, this is what is gonna be my starting point, and that's where I'm gonna spend the rest of the month, which is 3 more days, working on. I still do my linen and threads daily or bi-daily stitching, and that's gonna stop also on the last day of this month, and that's where I'm gonna show you how much I've done on that one. Little by little it adds up, right? Like a dot after dot. So I'm still loving it. My lion, before I was stitching on 28 count opalescent linen, and it was 2/1 half stitch, and it was headache to do, so especially because it was opalescent and I have a cry neck in this pattern. So anyway, need to stop chatting with you and get into the stitching. Also, I almost forgot, I just received some more fabric that I need to cut, and I'll show you which one I got. So it's for my next year big plan, big stitching. It's 16 count. I got 2 of them in Ada yards, and 25 count Lugana, and both are antique white. I like it more than regular white because it's not as bright would be, and I think because Lugana is not fully like a cotton, so you can kind of tell the softness versus Ada. Ada is much more stiffer fabric, but it's a full cotton, and I think if you put in the same temperature water, cotton would shrink more than Lugana, which is just partial cotton fabric. But they're both going to be participating. I still need to get even more fabric. I'm doing it slowly. Still I have 3 months. I'm collecting all my threads for those projects. You're going to see those in my plans. And if you have any questions or any kind of patterns on all those things, maybe you can guess what I'd like to stitch next year, which is gonna be like 44 new projects. Go ahead and start thinking about that. Maybe you'll seen some hints before, but anyway, I'm gonna start this today, and you'll see in about probably a second how much I've done. I'll be doing it in the next 3 days. So as you see, I am cutting my fabric. This is 16 count Ada, and what's really quite upsetting is when it's not even, because I'm pre-cutting for the size I need. So this was like a 22, like in the middle part that I needed, and look how much on this piece I had to cut in at least to that half. This is quite a few stitches, you know, so that's what I'm gonna be losing, because I needed to be able to put on the frames properly, and then later when I want to put in, you know, in the framing itself, not just stitching frames, I wanted that to be on all sides even stitching. So I know these sides gonna be even because that's their edging done on the fabric, but this is kind of little annoying that you have to like pre-cut this much fabric off. And another piece that I was cutting, it's also was like, you know, this long piece, so it seems like they fold it over on this line and just cut it, because then it's gonna go and taper off a little bit less on that edge, but I follow the lines and that's what it's cutting. So I'm just gonna continue lose some of the fabric. Good thing that I buy in the whole yards, otherwise I might be shortened some. So this is what I have. That's gonna be for my next year's BAPS, full coverage projects. I'm saying hello practically at midnight on the last day of September, and decided to stop and wrap it all up so I can post a video for you. So as you can see, I've been just filling up above his nose and where the eye is. Just filled up the sky, and there's gonna be much less sky. As you can see, it's already filling in brownish spots in here. Try to fill in a little bit here, and it's not going to be a lot of sky left in continuing. This part is going to be his mane going up. So by according to program, it says I stitched practically 4% and without like 1/10 of it. So very happy. I worked only for 3 full days on this with some, you know, times out of that for family and eating and doing things, but it was going fairly well, although it was not as much like bluish, and like you can see here interesting colors happening up on the top, but there's more crying happening already here. I don't know, was that supposed to be just snowflakes or something with his mane? I don't know, because as you can see, some of his I don't know what those like whiskers would be here, is also the crying. And I finished one spool of crying, and glad that I had another one to continue. I can't remember if I started with the full one for this or not, but just continued. So I'm gonna stop with this. I'm very happy how much I've done. It's fun to stitch, and I have a grand plans for this whip for next 2 years, because I'm hoping to finish by the end of 2022. So I calculated, I think about if I do 3,000 a month, I might be able to just finish by then, but I'll have to recheck it again. So that's where I'm gonna stop by this point. And also another whip that I've been working, if you can remember, I started this on in the beginning of the month, and you haven't seen it, but I was doing like a daily some stitches. With some days I missed it, like in the second part of the month I missed 4 days, but can you remember what it is? If not, look in a second. Ta-da! It's my Linen and Threads 2017 sampler. So I'll put a picture what it was before I started this month. And what you see is right now that I've started August. There's going to be another band happening below. It took me a bit to figure out the coloring for what to put in where. These are like small parts because there's gonna be like a big flowers. Also, I want to do multicolor. I'm still using, what's that, 4 or 5 different color schemes only for a whole project. So I'm trying to kind of mix them up in the good ways. So that's what I've been doing, and I'm very happy to say that in the whole month, let's see where my notes are, I stitched 2804 stitches, so 200 stitches shy of 3,000. So I think that's pretty good, and it's on the 32 count 1/1 on the linen, and just been going off slowly and putting in a few stitches and then stitching on my main projects. So I'm very happy. I'm gonna try to set aside this one because I have a grand plans for next 3 months, and I don't think this is gonna be touched during that time, but about that you'll see in my next video. So tune in for that. So I'm glad you stopped by. Hope you enjoyed my vlogging for this part of a month. And if you have any questions or you want to just say hello, leave a comment below. And thank you for subscribing too. So until the next time, and hopefully it's going to be very soon. This was Rigita saying bye-bye.